The placid suburban landscape of Meadowbrook Heights, with its manicured lawns and HOA-enforced conformity, was about to become the unlikely epicenter of a war waged not with bullets, but with bylaws, decibel meters, and the sheer, unadulterated audacity of one Karen Clifton, HOA President Extraordinaire, and standing in her path, Travis Whitman, a 35-year-old K9 trainer, a man whose backyard was a federally graded training facility for elite police dogs like Rex, an 80-pound veteran of drug busts, and whose military background in the Army Corps of Engineers, specializing in power grid systems and security infrastructure, had imbued him with a unique set of skills perfectly suited for the bizarre suburban warfare that was about to unfold. The trouble began subtly, with a blonde woman in designer athleisure wear, Deborah Clifton, lingering near Travis's fence during training sessions, taking pictures and making notes. Travis, initially dismissing her as a curious neighbor, was about to learn the true meaning of escalation. One sun-drenched Saturday afternoon, as Rex demonstrated his explosive detection skills, Travis's motion sensors blared. It wasn't a stray cat or a wayward kid. It was Deborah, in a designer pantsuit, having just vaulted his 6-foot privacy fence, now brandishing a decibel meter and professional camera equipment like weapons of mass indignation. "Excuse me," she shrieked, pointing the meter at Rex, who, a consummate professional, merely sat and observed this bizarre intrusion with calm curiosity. "I'm Deborah Clifton, president of the Meadowbrook Heights Homeowners Association." She snapped photos frantically, the flash startling the dogs. "These dangerous animals are creating excessive noise. I'm issuing you a $500 fine and demanding immediate removal of these beasts from our family-friendly community." Travis, attempting to maintain the calm he used with agitated suspects, explained his federal contractor status, his proper permits, and the professional nature of his K9s. Deborah, however, was impervious to reason. "I don't care about your government nonsense," she retorted with a wave of her manicured hand. "This is an HOA community, and we have standards." Travis's first mistake, he'd later realize, was his polite offer to email the HOA board and resolve the misunderstanding, like reasonable adults. Deborah's eyes lit up with predatory satisfaction. "Oh, you'll be hearing from us all right," she purred, climbing back over the fence with surprising agility. 3 days later, Travis's mailbox exploded with bureaucratic ordinance for separate violation notices totaling $2,000. Excessive noise, dangerous animals, accusations so absurd they bordered on fiction. His carefully written email had been utterly ignored. A call to his old police academy partner, Detective Mike Rodriguez, confirmed his fears. "Travis, my friend, you've stepped into a different kind of war zone. HOA Karens can be more dangerous than armed suspects because they have the law on their side. At least, their version of it." Mike's advice was stark. Document everything, record every interaction, and never let them see you sweat. A call to the HOA enforcement number connected Travis directly to Deborah's personal cell. "HOA enforcement, President Clifton speaking," she answered with saccharine sweetness. When Travis stated his belief in a mistake, a chuckle of pure malice followed. "No mistake, Mr. Whitman. You're running illegal operations. I am the law in this neighborhood. Your federal permits don't override HOA regulations." During their video call, Travis noted unsettling details. A $3,000 designer handbag, expensive art, and a chillingly satisfied comment from Deborah about HOA fines, helping maintain property values and my lifestyle. The warning bells in Travis's military-trained mind began to clang. This wasn't just about community standards. Something far more venal was at play. She gave him 72 hours to comply or face escalating fines and legal action that would force you out of this community. Travis, realizing the law in Meadowbrook Heights was whatever Karen Clifton dictated, activated full reconnaissance mode. 12 years of military training and federal contract work in surveillance and intelligence gathering were about to be repurposed for suburban espionage. He installed legal, high-end security cameras, including night vision, around his property. Within days, he documented more actual HOA violations committed by Deborah herself than she had fabricated against him. Her overgrown flower beds, a property value nightmare. Her Tuesday/Thursday overnight street parking, violating Section 12.7, and her Wednesday morning laundry drying ritual, explicitly banned on page 47, Section 12.3 of the bylaws she wielded so selectively. To avoid detection, Travis employed creative surveillance tactics. Casual walks with Rex became intelligence-gathering missions. Social media training videos were cover for recording Deborah's illegal parking. He even had to dive behind a tree to avoid being caught documenting her landscaping violations. The real breakthrough, however, came from observing her lifestyle. New luxury SUV leases, regular expensive spa treatments, high-end shopping sprees, all seemed to coincide perfectly with her major violation campaigns against other neighbors. The smoking gun was an overheard phone conversation. "The fine money covers it perfectly," Deborah laughed to an unknown caller. "They never checked the HOA books anyway, so it's basically free money." This wasn't just power tripping. It was a sophisticated shakedown operation, funding her lavish lifestyle with extorted fines. The fear Deborah instilled was palpable. Travis's neighbor, Tom Bradley, became a nervous wreck, leading to heated arguments with his wife, Linda, overheard by Travis. "Tom, this is morally wrong. You know she's lying." Tom's whispered, fearful reply. "What if she decides to target us next? What about our property values?" The intimidation escalated when Travis received a certified letter threatening a $10,000 lien against his property, Deborah claiming he had intimidated her with attack dogs. The desperation in her tone, however, hinted Travis was getting close to a truth she desperately wanted to conceal. Travis realized he couldn't fight this alone. His research into Deborah's past revealed a consistent, destructive pattern. Before Meadowbrook Heights, she'd been HOA president at Willow Creek Estates, forcing out multiple families with identical tactics. He connected with Dr. Patricia Vance, a veterinarian whose home-based clinic Deborah had systematically destroyed with bogus complaints and escalating fines totaling over $15,000. "She didn't just cost me my practice," Dr. Vance recounted, her voice trembling. "She cost me my reputation, my financial security. The worst part was watching neighbors I'd known 15 years turn against me because they were terrified." Travis organized an underground HOA resistance meeting at a sympathetic pastor's church in a neighboring town. Dr. Vance attended, along with another family victimized by Deborah in her previous neighborhood. 3 current Meadowbrook Heights neighbors, including Linda Bradley, who came without her husband's knowledge, also braved the meeting. Frank Morrison, a former HOA board member who'd resigned rather than participate in Deborah's shakedown, provided invaluable insider testimony. Officer Riley Thompson, a trusted K9 colleague, offered off-duty assistance with legal documentation. Attorney Jennifer Walsh, specializing in HOA corruption, explained that their meticulously documented evidence pointed not just to civil rights violations, but potentially to organized financial fraud under RICO statutes, a federal crime. The financial investigation, spearheaded with help from a discreetly recruited forensic accountant, revealed $47,000 in unexplained deposits into Deborah's personal accounts, perfectly correlating with her fine campaigns. Frank Morrison explained how Deborah controlled the unaudited HOA books, silencing any board members who dared ask questions. The coalition faced internal friction. Jerry Walsh, from Deborah's previous neighborhood, was terrified of retaliation. Dr. Vance's impassioned speech rallied him. She won't stop until someone forces her to stop. Investigative journalist Sarah Martinez, alerted by Dr. Vance, recognized the significance of their findings and began her own deep dive. The emotional tide had turned for Travis. For the first time in months, he felt empowered, not isolated. The final HOA meeting was a scene of unprecedented suburban drama. The community center overflowed with residents, media, legal observers, and even concerned city council members. The air crackled with suppressed frustration and anger. Deborah, fashionably late and exuding unshakable confidence, launched into a theatrical presentation, painting Travis's K9s as vicious threats, his business as illegal, and herself as the valiant protector of community values. Her performance included feigned fainting spells and tearful appeals about her stress-induced health issues, a calculated ploy for sympathy. But the community, armed with information and no longer cowed, saw through the charade. Someone in the back even laughed out loud. The spell was broken. Travis's counter-presentation was a methodical demolition of Deborah's lies. He presented time-stamped video of her trespassing, the forensic accountant's report detailing the $47,000 in suspicious deposits, Dr. Vance's heartbreaking testimony, George Hendricks, another victim, insider account of her targeting methods, and his own irrefutable federal contractor documentation. As each piece of evidence landed, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Disbelief turned to anger. Board members scribbled notes. Supporters looked uncomfortable. The ultimate twist, however, came from the most unexpected quarter. Marcus Clifton, Deborah's husband, who had been sitting silently in the back, suddenly stood and walked to the microphone. The room fell silent. "I need to say something I should have said a long time ago," he announced, his voice heavy. "I've been gathering evidence of what my wife has been doing. She has destroyed enough innocent families, and it ends tonight." He then handed comprehensive folders containing bank statements proving systematic theft from HOA funds, forged violation reports, financial records of their lifestyle being funded by extorted money, and recorded conversations of Deborah admitting to targeting vulnerable families, to the HOA president, Travis's attorney, and Sarah Martinez. The revelation that her own husband had documented her crimes and was prepared to testify shattered Deborah's facade. She erupted, blaming Marcus, blaming Travis, blaming the system. Her perfect makeup streaked with tears of rage. Her meltdown, broadcast live on local news and recorded by dozens of cell phones, was her final damning performance. The HOA board voted unanimously for her immediate removal. Criminal charges for embezzlement, trespassing, fraud, harassment, and abuse of municipal authority were filed that night. A full audit was ordered and refunds mandated for all bogus fines. The new democratically elected HOA leadership, with Officer Riley Thompson, now a detective specializing in white-collar crime, providing oversight, implemented sweeping transparency measures. 6 months later, Meadowbrook Heights was a transformed community. Travis continued training, his K9s, no longer a source of controversy, but a point of community pride. Deborah's trial became a regional cautionary tale, her embezzlement schemes studied in law enforcement programs. The investigation revealed she'd stolen over $75,000. Property values in Meadowbrook Heights, ironically, increased significantly as families were attracted to its ethical leadership. Travis's K9 business expanded. Dr. Vance reopened her clinic. Marcus Clifton, after filing for divorce, thanked Travis for giving him the courage to expose the truth. The sound of Rex's commands in Travis's backyard now symbolized not conflict, but a community that had found its courage, proving that real law and real justice, sometimes delivered through the most unexpected channels, are stronger than any Karen's reign of terror.